contrast, although running is also broken down into a stance and swing phase, it's kind of flipped in respect to walking. In walking, we spend 60% of our time in the stance phase and 40% in the swing phase, giving us that cumulative 100% that allows us to carry out the full action of walking. Whereas whenever we run, we spend 60% of our time in the swing phase and 40% in the stance phase, giving us that 100% that allows us to perform the full action of running. And just as the stance phase of walking was broken down into two different sub-phases, single support and double support, the swing phase is going to be broken down into two sub-phases as well. The float phase and the swing phase. Whenever we talk about the float phase refers to the time in which there is no ground contact at all. So if we're talking about the right foot, whenever we run, there's a time in which the right foot and left foot are not in contact with the ground at all. But there's also a time in which the left foot is in contact with the ground, whereas the right is not. So whenever that left foot is in contact with the ground and the right is not, that is characteristic of the 30% swing phase. Whereas whenever both the left and right feet aren't on the ground at all, that's characterized by both 15% of the float phase. So just as we had 10% of double support in the stance phase and walking at the beginning and end of that stance phase, we have 15% of the float phase at the beginning and end of the swing phase in running. So although running is split into 60% of the swing phase and 40% of the stance, it has two subphases, float and swing, whereas walking, although split into 60% of stance and 40% of swing, has two subphases to stance, double support and single support.